What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy 49er Dion, aka Niner Gang Podcast, aka S with D on Twitter, back with another video. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on them post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, man, let's get right on into it. So we had a hell of a game, pulled off a win, a phenomenal win that nobody thought we were going to pull off, including myself, man. I definitely didn't think we was going to pull that off. So I'm very happy about that, man. And, we got some things we got to get into to go ahead and talk about that, bro. So at the end of the day, we whooped the Rams 31-10, and we did it in beautiful fashion. And we finally gave the home crowd a win. That's what basically this was about for me. Giving the home crowd a win, man. It took so long for us to be able to do that. And it's so harsh, man. And it hurts so bad when you keep going to game after game and they keep losing and losing, especially when you spent your hard-earned money on these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ain't cool. I know if I spend my hard-earned money on them tickets, you better get a dub. You know what I'm saying? So, luckily, we went ahead. We got the dub. We did what we were supposed to do. Can't be too mad about that. So, let's go ahead and figure out exactly what happened because we got some things to get into here, man. So first things first, we got the fucking W. Let's go. That was a fantastic game by the 49ers overall in all phases of the game, offense and defense and special teams. We ran the ball 44 times, only threw it 19 times. Very lopsided from run to pass, but it was effective and it worked. When you look at the numbers, it doesn't look great as a team. 3.5 yards per carry, 1 TD, and 156 yards on 44 runs. But it's a collective of three people, one who is technically a receiver in Deebo Samuel, and the other two are Jeff Wilson Jr. and Elijah Mitchell. Mitchell sustained a finger fracture, and we'll have a procedure done, and we'll see if this is something he can play with or he'll need time off. If he does, that kind of goes ahead and switches around the depth chart there. We'll see more Jeff Wilson Jr. and we'll see more Trey Sermon, which we need to see more Trey Sermon because we wasted a third-round pick on the young man, and he just seems to have fallen by the wayside per Kyle Shanahan. Then, you know what I'm saying, the offensive line held up. Jalen Moore went out with an injury, but Tom Compton held up, as well as he possibly could. He didn't play spectacular, but he didn't play horrible by any stretch of the imagination. So you gotta appreciate that. We kept Jimmy to being a game manager, and he did what we asked him to do. That's all we need. Nothing spectacular, but he did his job, and that's all we can ask. I will say I feel like Lance could have done what Jimmy did, but I digress. Not shitting on him this week. He did what was asked. The run game was on point. We won time of possession. We had the ball 39 minutes and 3 seconds. The Rams had the ball 20 minutes and 57 seconds. That's almost a 20-minute difference. You know what I'm saying? So this is a 60-minute game. And we had the ball 19, almost 20 more minutes than they did. So you got to appreciate that. Taking a look at it, we had more first downs. We were better on third down. Deebo had a receiving and rushing TD. Him and Kittle helped me win fantasy that I was losing on. Man, I was getting broke off in my fantasy. We had the 49er media. I was getting broke off in my fantasy like bad. One fantasy I had won by like a serious mark. I was winning by like 80 points or some shit. And in my other fantasy, I was losing. And my only two people I had left to go were Kittle and Deebo. And I swear to God, both of them dudes did everything they could, and I wound up winning. I was happy, man. I was real lucky on that one. So that was definitely a little blessing in disguise for me. On defense, welcome back Jimmy Ward. Put some respect on that man's name, okay? Jimmy Ward had 2 INTs, one which was a gimme, because Stafford just chucked it downfield, and he thought OBJ was going to continue on a route, and he didn't. Post-game press conference, Jimmy Ward said he's looking for OBJ after that hit he laid on him after the INT. So, OBJ, you've been put on notice. Jimmy Ward coming for that ass. Pause. So the second INT was a pick six. Tight end bobbled the ball, and Ward was right there to take advantage of it and get that pick six. The D-line did what they could, getting some pressure. We had a sack by Bosa and another by Arden Key. So that's great. Bosa once again was held all night. And these were not called. It's frustrating because it happens every game. Like, I mean, literally, there literally was a play where Bosa was the offensive lineman did this. His hand was literally around Bosa's neck like that. That's definitely a hold, people. So it's really frustrating when you see that they can't even at least get the man, the calls when they know they see it's blatantly happening. And what kills me is that, there should be someone in the league that's taking a look at this and saying, look, man, either we need more refs or guys really need to start calling these games properly, because this shit just happens way too often and it's just not fair. And it happens to his brother Joey too. And he talked about it. He was vocal about it. Joey said, I ain't finna hold my tongue no more. I don't care how the NFL feels. Damn it, I'm getting held and y'all motherfuckers ain't calling the damn call. So that's basically what it is. Then looking at it, trying to find where I was. I apologize. The line, they did what they could, get into pressure. Both had a sack, another by Arden Key. It's frustrating because it happens every game. Azeez was balling all night, leading the team in tackles and flying all over the field, making tackles. Mosley and Hufanga balled out. Mosley had 2 opportunities for INTs. One he dropped, and another was unfortunately knocked out of his hands by Talanoa Hufanga. So Hufanga basically came over and tried to make a play on the ball, but didn't pay attention to the fact, hey, what's going on, Eli? Didn't pay attention to the fact that, the ball was going right into Mosley's hands. It was very frustrating. I was dying. But it's definitely a beautiful thing, man, to see that we out there, we balling, and, we keeping it rolling. Hufanga, knocked the ball out of his hands. And then Hufanga, on the attempted fake field goal, caused the pressure and made the kicker throw early, and DJ Jones got the stop for the turnover on downs. We had 6 pass deflections in this game, which is great. That means the DBs were on point. This was a great team game all around, and we made it happen. Finally gave the home fans a win. Once again, Kyle made McVay his bitch and showed him he will always be little brother. I guarantee you after the game, they was probably looking at each other, and Kyle was, they walked up to each other, and Kyle looked and he said, hey, man, yeah, Hufanga is late. We always have great luck with our late round picks, but our first round pick usually just are lackluster. You know what I'm saying? Eric Armstead, he's playing well, but you don't see a sack production. You don't see a lot of things. And then when it comes to the other players, look at Javon Kinlaw, out for the year. So things are frustrating, and we miss him because he was a real good run stuffer. But at the end of the day, man, it's definitely a little frustrating when it comes down to it, for us to have, all those things laying out there. But we still had a fantastic game. What I was getting to, sorry, I got off my point. Kyle probably walked to him. He was like, you my bitch, right? It's okay, baby. Don't worry. Hey, come here. Give me a hug. Give me a kiss. Hey, calm down, man. Stop acting like you don't. You know what it is, Kyle. You know what it is, Sean. You know what it is. I done punked you for the last 2 years. I'm going to keep punking you while I'm in this division, which right now is going to be for another 6 years from a technical standpoint, because that's what my new contract said. So for 6 more years, I'm going to keep whooping your ass. It's basically what happened. You know what I mean? And that's there's nothing you can really do about it. Let me see where I was at, because I got some more good stuff to get into. Let's see. I lost my dang point. I be always on, man, but I be losing my point because I have stuff written down that I read off of, and I be trying to get back to where I was. I need to put like the cursor right where I was after that. But here we go. So after the game, no post-game press conference for Aaron Donald. Didn't want to be asked about Debo again, because Debo was snatching change all night long. The NFL literally changed their icon to Debo holding up that 49er chain just like this and cheesing it. That's literally what happened, people. Debo Samuel was a force to be reckoned with, and he's rewriting the way that you look at a number 1 receiver. You know what I mean? Everybody's saying, number 1 receiver got to be a D-Hop, or it got to be an AB, or it has to be, a Julio Jones type. Number 1 receiver just has to be a number 1 receiver, and he just has to do whatever you ask him to do. And that's exactly what's going on. I love this right now, man. It's definitely a beautiful thing. So, once again, he sat there and he was like, yo, man, he missed that press conference randomly because he was getting broke off. Kittle had a great game. Very simple. 5 catches for 50 yards and 1 TD. Great blocking all night with a beautiful pancake on Miller. The pancake that he had on Miller was pretty cool because he actually wound up, getting a little bit of a chip from Kyle Juszczyk, but hell, the pancake was still beautiful. I mean, Bob Miller got to recognize. I know you used to going up against Travis Kelce, and Travis Kelce ain't no blocking tight end. He's a receiving tight end. We all understand this. At the end of the day, George Kittle is man. And it's like having an extra offensive lineman when he's out there, so you got to respect that. Overall, fantastic game. Kyle did what he normally does, masked Jimmy's deficiencies, limited the throwing, ran the ball, and set up the pass, and we won easily. Almost forgot the best INT of the season was stolen by the refs in this game. K'Waun Williams had an INT pinned between his ass crack and ball sack and held on to the ball. Pause. It was called back on a PI. Now I'm gonna show y'all for the people over here on the YouTube. I'm gonna show y'all exactly what I mean, man, because this was crazy, like stupid crazy. Like I've never seen anything like it, man. That's probably the best INT of the year. And I guarantee you, man, when you see this, you're gonna be like, "What? Are you serious right now?" But yes, that was definitely the joint, man. It was definitely beautiful. So let me go ahead and pull this joint up here. Let me see if I can get it to go ahead and stream. Let's see which one. Yeah. So we're gonna hit play on this. Let me see how it looks. Does it look good? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit bigger, but no, I'm gonna leave it that way. And I want y'all to take a look at this, dog. This crazy. This is probably the best INT of the season, and hopefully it work out.
So what they have come on done is impressive. Up in the air, they intercepted. Oh my God! There is a flag down.
Hey man,
K'Waun Williams held that up against his thigh. Let's see which way this flag goes.
They're going to get holding on K'Waun Williams. They hooked him.
That option route got him. He had to grab a hold of him.
Now, see, they said he had to grab a hold of him and everything. Mr. P-Town 49, what's happening with you, brother? They say he held him and everything. I don't think he held him. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think K'Waun had the damn INT, and they was a little upset. Like I said, K'Waun held that between his ass crack and his ball sack and made sure he secured that damn catch. That's the INT of the season. Can't nobody tell me different. It ain't another one that's going on. He said it was lagging. Yeah, it was probably lagging because sometimes when I try to connect them, it's crazy. But if you look at it, just go on Twitter, you'll be able to find it, man. That was definitely one of the best INTs of the season. But overall, man, we got a good team win. I ain't gonna front you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep this joint pretty short, when it comes down to it, as far as that's concerned. We did what we were supposed to do on defense. We slowed Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp had 11 catches for 122 yards, so he averaged 11.1 yards per carry. But here's the thing. Cooper Kupp didn't score a touchdown. Cooper Kupp had some drops that were bad. For the Rams on offense, Steve ass crack. Hey, it is what it is, bro. If you watched the game, you saw it. Ass crack the ball sack. He had the ball. Pause. But at the end of the day, man, on offense for the Rams, things just didn't get going. Their run game was hot garbage. When you look at their run game, man, so for the Rams, their run game literally goes through Henderson. Henderson barely did anything. 5 carries, 31 yards. They had a total of 52 yards rushing. And we had just had 2 consecutive games where we gave up 100 yards rushing. So we did what we were supposed to do on defense in ways you can't imagine. We had a wonderful moment there. That was fantastic that we were able to go ahead and pull that off. Matthew Stafford, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. He was sacked twice, 26 of 41. So look at that. We ran the ball 44 times, threw it 19 times. The Rams ran the ball 10 times, threw it 41 times. That tells you they got a lot more faith in their quarterback than we do, but it's not a big deal. I really don't care. As long as Jimmy didn't screw the shit up, that's all that matters. He did have a couple of throws that we probably would like to have back, and he did miss Juwan Jennings on a perfect route, but it is what it is. You can't, it's Jimmy. You just take what you can get, You don't complain. If he has a good game, it is what it is. I'm not going to be mad at him for it. I'm very happy that, he didn't throw any INTs and he did what he could, and he made things happen. Deebo Samuel was the baller of that game. Deebo had 5 catches for 35 runs for 36 yards, averaging 7.2 yards per rush and a TD. Then he wound up and flipped over to the other side of the ball. He had 5 catches on 5 targets for 97 yards, 19.4 yards per catch, 1 TD, and his longest run was 40 yards. And that was that one where he just took that shit and broke off to the end zone. People need to put some respect on Deebo's speed too. Do not underestimate him and make you seem like he is a slow receiver, because he is not. He will burn your ass in seconds. Don't give him no 80-yard run, though, because as you can see last week, I think it was last week or the week before, he ran out of gas, man. I think anything in 60 and under, yeah, you're going to get burned. Anything 60 and above, you might catch it. But 49ers Ultimate Report, what's happening with you? So leading rusher was Elijah Mitchell, 27 carries, 91 yards, only 3.4 yards per carry. But, when you look at the rest of the Rams offense, so Cooper Kupp, once again, 11 catches, 122 yards, 11.1 yards per average. He had 13 targets, the Rams, and they threw the ball 41 times. So the rest of the Rams, Van Jefferson, 3 catches, Tyler Higbee, 3 catches, OBJ, 2, Sony Michel, 2, Darrell Henderson, 4, and all of them had shit averages outside of Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson averaged 18 yards per catch. Tyler Higbee, 6.7. OBJ, 9. Sony Michel, 5.5. Darrell Henderson Jr., 2.5. These are things that you're not averaging nothing. You're not going nowhere. We played sound defense and we played great football, and we did it in front of the home fans. That is the most beautiful thing you can do for them, because they're tired of coming in here and watching you lose. Eddie Glover, what up? He says, I got a question for you. Where has his team been? We played with fire. You think Dr. York had a... Yeah. I'm glad you bring that up. Dr. York lit a real huge fire under Kyle Shanahan's ass. He lit a humongous fire. And I think he lit it under the team. Because at the end of the day, you got to remember, this is a business. Business is all about having good product and people consuming your product. So you want to have good product, because people will continue to consume your product week in and week out, year in and year out, day in and day out. To give you a prime example, grocery stores are literally scientifically shaped and molded so that you buy more. Like, they'll put certain items next to the other item because they know one goes with the other. And they know that you yourself will have the option to go ahead and purchase those items. Hey, I'm going to put chips and soda across from one of the other. Because you know what? If you got some soda, you got to have some chips. And if you got to have some chips, you got to have some soda. That's just basically how it works. So with football, you got to have a winning product to put on the field, and players have to be great. You have to have notable guys on your team. There have to be people that when these teams are mentioned, somebody says a specific name. Like when you mention the 49ers right now, who did they think of? Deebo Samuel, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Jimmy, even though a lot of us don't really care for him, Jimmy G. You know what I'm saying? Those are the names that you start to think of, because why? That's the commodity. That's where the money's coming from. That's where the jersey sales are coming from. That's where the paraphernalia is bought, all these things. So he came in and basically was like, look, y'all fucking up my business. You know what I'm saying? You're playing with my money. And I don't like you playing with my money. Billionaires don't like to lose money. Rich people are very frugal. That's how they stay rich, because they make sure that they don't spend a ton of money. They go ahead and give it to them, man. It is what it is. So the beauty of this is he comes in and he probably talked to them. He probably talked to the team separately too, or maybe he talked to everyone all in one and said, look, we out here losing. We suck. This is not going to work. And y'all need to get this shit together. I know that we got a bunch of soft-ass players, because everybody's like, oh, don't yell at me because it doesn't work. Oh, my God, if you yell at me, I'm going to cry. You don't get any results with that. At the end of the day, I don't care how you fix it. Just fix the shit then. Because you can't keep going out there putting shit product on the field and expecting people to keep buying. It doesn't work like that. That's like Kellogg's putting out a cereal, and the cereal was great. But then they made a change to the formula. Now the cereal's trash and people start complaining, but they keep giving them that same cereal because they're like, well, fuck it, they just going to buy it anyway. It doesn't work like that. Consumers will change their minds. The average consumer is not very smart, and I don't want to be mean to people, but it's just true. Some people just consume just to consume instead of paying attention to what they're consuming. So in business, you can sometimes get yourself a couple of people that ain't really bright, and they'll just buy your product regardless of whatever you do to it because they love your product and they support you regardless. And you got some people that notice the differences in the product when changes are made. So this change needed to be made. Dr. York possibly had a hand in it. I can agree with you. He said, "Amen." Breezy said it best on Nitty Gritty. We the fans buy the merch and the game tickets. We the fans. Yes, that's very fucking true. We do deserve better. Because at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you go to a stadium where there are no asses in the seats, what's the point of playing? When players last year said that BS, and I keep this because they said that BS, oh, having fans in the stand doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. That's a fucking lie. That is a flat out lie. You know why that's a lie? Strictly because we give you that energy. They feed off of our energy. Hello, they have the 12th man in fucking Seattle. The stadium for Arrowhead is literally built to funnel sound down to the field. So when those fans are cheering, literally all that sound goes down to the field. When those fans are cheering over there in Seattle, the 12th man is real. Everybody loves it. So it's not a situation where you have people that can and can't do anything without the fans. You need us. You need us to buy your tickets, buy your merchandise, and you need us to cheer for you because that energy that you get reverberates to you on the field, and it allows you to be able to be happy. Trader Truth, what's happening with you? I'm grown. What's happening with you? I'm talking to people on IG and on StreamYard, man. I'm trying to double stream. But we had a fantastic game, man. We did what we were supposed to do. Now we just got to go out and beat the Jags. I'll do a whole nother video on the Jags, but this is what I will say, man. When we play the Jags, we need to be worried about their defense. I'm not worried about that offense in the least bit. It ain't doing shit. They may have scored some points here and there, but I'm not tripping off that offense. I'll tell you right now, be worried about that defense, okay? Because Josh Allen ate Josh Allen up a couple weeks ago, and he was not playing no games. Okay, they held the Bills, which is a high-powered offense, to 6 fucking points, and beat them in a kicker's game. So you can't be mad about that, man. It's definitely a beautiful thing. And yeah, man, I appreciate that. Eddie Glover on YouTube says that I'm up here at church. So that's basically what it is, man. So I'm gonna get into these game picks too. I'm gonna throw this in here, man, because I got just a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. I don't want to hold up nobody too long. So at the end of the day, man, I am 88, 61, and 1, and I'm only 1-1 because the damn Steelers don't know how to beat the I only have one tie because the Steelers don't know how to beat the goddamn Lions, which is definitely an atrocity, but it's a plus for the Lions. That says that they are improving. So with the games on the docket for the week, man, I had to take a look at some things and just go ahead and see what we got and what's going on. So with that being said, let's take a look here. I'm going to pull up the games from last week because sometimes I like to do that. I like to go back and take a look at, previous weeks. I'll say somebody won or lost, and I don't want to look like a dummy, saying, oh, so-and-so won, and they really lost. That's just how it works. So we're going to go back to week 10 because week 10 was an eventful week. It was definitely fun. Oh, dang it. Did it push? I think it did. It did push. And I don't want to be at week 17. I want to be at week 10, dang it. All right. So hopefully it's going. There we go. Okay. So, the first loss last week was I definitely picked the Ravens versus, over the Dolphins. I know I did my picks behind that. But it was crazy. It was like, what the hell? How did the Ravens lose to the Dolphins? Hey, anybody can get beat on any given day. That's the key here. It's the NFL. It always works like that. So that being said, let's go ahead and get on into these picks for this week. Thursday night football, man. We got the Patriots versus the Falcons. The Falcons come off an ass whooping by the Cowboys. They lost 43-3. The Cowboys beat the brakes off them boys, man. It's definitely painful to watch at times. I have to say I understand that much, man. It hurts. It hurts as a fan of the team, to say what's going on and what happened. And it looks like, why can I not find the Patriots game from last week? They must have played week 10. Where'd they go? Yes, okay. So the Falcons come off an ass whooping, and the Patriots come off a ass whooping handed out. They broke the Browns off. I was wondering why I couldn't find 45-7. Good God. Whew, that's painful right there. You see an ass whooping taken, an ass whooping given out, and you're right, Steve. Fuck the Cowboys. Nobody care about them. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You know where I'm going? I'm gonna go with the Patriots. Mac Jones, keep balling. And by the way, Mac Jones, please keep throwing KB the ball. Please keep throwing Kendrick Bourne the ball. I miss Kendrick Bourne. I don't know about y'all. I know a lot of people didn't like him, but I like Kendrick Bourne. I miss him. He was definitely good for us. So I'm going with the Patriots in that joint. Ain't no hope for the Cowboys, for the Falcons on that one. And then with us and the Jags, I'm not going to get into a long diatribe because I'll do a video separately on it, but I'm going to pick us over the Jaguars. We got the Colts and the Bills. The Colts, let's see what they did. They won. They beat the Jags 23-17. So they had a nice little win. And the Bills punched the Jets in the mouth with a 45-17 win. Joe Flacco has now been named the starter of the New York Jets for this coming week. But for this specific game, when it comes to the Colts and the Bills, I'm taking the Bills. The Ravens and the Bears, it's a great battle of mobile quarterbacks with Lamar Jackson versus Justin Fields. I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on that one. The next game on the docket is the Lions and the Browns. So the Lions come off of a tie with the Steelers, and the Browns come off of an ass whooping handed out by the Patriots. But I'm going to take the Browns in this one, man. I know the Lions are fighting. They're clawing and scratching and biting people's kneecaps off and doing what they can. But it's just, I don't think this works out for them this week. The Texans and the Titans, I ain't even got to talk about the damn Texans. They trash. Green Bay Packers versus the Vikings, that'll be a good game, but I'm going to go with the Pack. The Dolphins versus Jets, I am actually going to take the Dolphins to go ahead and get a little 2-game win streak going. The Saints versus the Eagles, I took the Saints in that one. Watched the football team versus Carolina Panthers. Shout out to Eli in the chat on IG. Man, let me tell you something. Cam Newton told you. Cam Newton sat out there, man, and he went to Arizona. He did his thing. He said, I'm back. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with the Carolina Panthers on this one, man. I'm going to take the Panthers to go ahead and get that dub over the Washington football team. The Bengals versus the Raiders. I'm going to take the Bengals, man. I need the Bengals to start winning again. I need Joe Burrow to show me that magic that was there early in the season because they've been a little up and down since they little start, man. And I'm a little hurt by that one. So I'm going to go ahead and mute that so everybody can hear me and not the dang the thing there. So let's see what we got here. All right. Next game on the docket is going to be the Cowboys versus the Chiefs. Now, this one actually was a hard sell. I didn't know who to pick. Matt Moses, what's happening with you? I didn't know who to pick, man. I really didn't. I didn't know who to pick, man, but, I looked at it. The Chiefs are at home, so I just went with the Chiefs. They went beat the brakes off of the Raiders last week. And usually the Raiders give them more problems. They usually have the Chiefs number, but it is what it is, man. They got the brakes beat off them last week. So I went ahead and I went with the Chiefs on this one just because they was at home. That was the only way I could pick it. Cardinals versus the Seahawks. Because I want the Cardinals to start losing and continue to lose more games, I'm just going with the Seahawks on a whim. Russell Wilson is back. I do feel like they rushed him back because they know Geno Smith ain't that good, and they need him to be able to try to salvage whatever little bit of the season they have left. They are at the bottom of the NFC West because we're literally right above them. But I picked the Seahawks to win that game. They are in Seattle, so hopefully the 12th man helps them out. The Steelers versus the Chargers. With the Steelers tying, it's definitely a little bit frustrating. But I did go ahead and go with the Chargers in that game. So hopefully Sunday night the Chargers can go ahead and pull it off. Justin Herbert and everybody get back on the bandwagon and get it rolling. And then Monday Night Football, we have the New York Football Giants versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or should I say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there is no reason in hell I would ever choose Daniel Jones over Tom Brady. I understand what happened last week, and I know people are going to be like, yo, Taylor Heineke just beat Tom Brady. And Yeah, he did that. But I don't think Daniel Jones is going to beat Tom Brady. Tom Brady still, has 7 fucking rings, and there aren't any other quarterbacks in the world that can say that. I'm just going with Tom Brady because he's Tom fucking Brady. So at the end of the day, man, those are my picks for this week. Sticking to them, gonna stand by them. I am currently 88, 61, and 1. So I look pretty good. I'm a little, nice little ways over 500. But I'm gonna keep on trucking and try to make sure that I get it to a point where I'm well over 500. I want to make sure that I have a great record at the end of the year, and I've been doing really well. These last probably about 2-3 weeks have been brutal, where I've just been picking the worst picks in the world, and then the upsets have been happening. This has been frustrating. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is going on in the NFL when these teams just breaking people off? It don't make no dang sense. But at the end of the day, gotta say I appreciate everyone for tuning in on IG and on YouTube. Hey, what's going? Good morning, Tanya. How you doing? Miss Sayal in the building. Thank you for the people who came through on YouTube and hung out with your boy, man. My boy Steve's, my boy Eddie Glover, Matt Moses stopped in for a hot second to say what up. 49er Media, Mr. P-Town. I appreciate all of y'all tuning in. I'm going to end the broadcast here. And I thank all of y'all for being, taking the time out to watch me and listen to me ramble and babble about the NFL and 49ers. Shout out to you, Eli, over there on IG, man. Hopefully y'all do get the win. And I hear that they are preparing Cam as the starter. So that definitely can tell you that, they got a little more faith in him, because they thought that it was going to be Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold wound up getting, failing, falling flat on his face. And I told everybody, USC quarterbacks don't succeed in the NFL. I keep telling y'all that. I'm a UCLA guy. So, yes, I hate everything USC. But their quarterbacks don't succeed in the NFL. I mean, the last quarterback in recent memory that did anything was Mark Sanchez when he went to 2 back-to-back AFC championships. Other than that, the only person who had a really great career, as far as I can see, that was a USC quarterback was Carson Palmer. And then now look at him. He even retired. It is what it is. I'm just saying, my guy. Hey, good morning, Mom. My guy, Troy Aikman, not necessarily my guy because he played for the Cowboys, but he's my guy because he went to UCLA. He has won the Super Bowl. Just saying. But thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate everyone for keeping an eye on this. Definitely keep an eye out for the 49ers versus Jags preview. I'll probably have some special guests on with me, and I'll most likely try to get a Jags fan in here to see how they feel about this, because that's what it is. Eddie Glover has the best comment right now. Let's get this W down in Jacksonville. Bang, bang, not gang. And I'm out this joint. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you so much.